Cooper hasn't done that I can say he should do to say he's done it all.
He won that championship. That was it.
Everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watch Ryan Odom, did I feel like he's the best player? Every time I watch Ryan Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. I said that for a long time. BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again. It's the Love of the Game podcast. We're in the building. It's Thursday night. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know how we get down. I'm seeing everybody pile in. Appreciate it. We see you guys in here. For those that are new, you're now tuned in. Look, I'm about to DJ Clue it. Lock. You're now tuned in to the greatest.
Now tuned in to the greatest.
You're now tuned in to the greatest. Hey, listen, this is the best grassroots and high school basketball podcast in the country that you are now listening to. Live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and also on SoundCloud, the Love of the Game podcast. Appreciate y'all for joining. We got a great show lined up. There will be smoke. Y'all know there are no suckers. This our saying, there are no suckers in our circle. So every time we bring somebody on, y'all understand what time it is. For all of our new people, because the Georgia Man Up raffle will be taking place live on the show today. For everyone new joining, welcome. Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching, one of the things that you're seeing now is we're putting people's comments up from our group chat live on the screen. So parents, as you engage, as you listen and you hear something that is educational, you want to ask questions to our guests, you want to interact with us, or you want to participate in some inside jokes, you do so in the chat, man, and we'll put it up on the screen. We ain't ducking nothing. I appreciate everyone for jumping in. We gonna get straight to it. Bryce thought y'all was gonna lose. We got Coach Elliott.
Whoa. Hold a minute, bro. Wait, a mother's loving minute, bro. I know you did not do that, bro. When we had a show before the game, you also said Sandy Creek was gonna win. Locke said Sandy Creek was gonna win.
No. But guess what? Guess what I said after the show? I said I can see an upset happening.
Man,
because that's Sandy Creek. Remember, I said that because I knew Cross Creek went to the state championship last year.
Coach, I hope your Cross Creek crew, your parents and players, I hope they are watching right now because they was on my head. They was mad at me.
They were
really, honestly, it had nothing to do with Cross Creek. It had nothing to do with your program. And I think they completely missed it.
Man, I don't think they miss anything. Shit. That's
okay.
Coach, let me give Coach a proper introduction. We are speaking with the head coach and the new state champion at Cross Creek High School,
yes,
Coach
sir.
Kelly. Yep. Coach, we should, before the jokes start firing and we really light that fire under Bryce, we should at least ask how you doing, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here with you guys.
How it feels to be a state champion?
It feels good. I mean, of course, the community's buzzing. it's a lot of emotions at school right now on the big win. Not only for us, but of course for the girls as well.
How does it feel to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and be a state champion? Because they didn't ask the question the right way.
Hey, you know how we do. We achieve in all fields of human endeavor.
you see how Dre. You see how. Let me tell you something about these two guys. The one at the top, he probably played some different colors. He have no idea. The one under you, he wanted to be. He's still trying to be.
No.
They going. He try to switch us up. He try to put us against each other.
No. Hey, why you say Locke still trying to get in, bro? That's dirty.
I always wanted to be down.
No. Only time I wanted to be down when I was trying to get in the club and they asked me what chapter am I in. And I said chapter 4. That's the only time I said, you know.
I told Locke I'll write a letter of recommendation for him, but he's still a little too dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know.
Yo!
I'm just kidding about that.
Richland is back on the show. That's back on the menu. Appreciate it, Bryce.
See, he feel like he got back up now, coach. He normally doesn't talk like this. Bruce normally doesn't talk like this.
He's active right now. He's active.
Y'all started this shit, bro. Y'all started this shit. Dre, you probably a Sigma. You probably got down with the Sigma. No shade,
bro. You could have at least made me an alpha. Why you do me like that, fam?
Your GPA wasn't high enough to be an alpha.
Right. Right. You told us last week you didn't even finish school. What you doing?
GPA wasn't high enough. You was probably a cute dog mascot, though. The book.
Y'all terrible, man.
Lock. The way Mondre be blocking when you trying to holler at recruits, he was definitely probably.
We got to talk about that. But let's talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
I want to know how much is the city is buzzing. You got 3 state champions in one city.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, when you sit there and you talk about, first off, I mean, Josie winning, they took care of business on Thursday night. And I mean, midday, but that was huge. I mean, they haven't won one since what, 1998 or something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's huge. Coach Bailey, he's doing a phenomenal job with that program. And then, of course, with Cross Creek, I mean, it's our first state championship ever. So, I mean, boys, girls, any sport. So, I mean, definitely huge.
So, I'm from the country. So, I know how people talk around the city. When you're winning or when you lose, it's a ton of haters. So, how does it feel when you walking around the city and all them old cats looking at you? They probably was hating on you last year because you lost in the state finals. They probably hated on you the year before. So, how does it feel just to walk through the city like, yeah, motherfucker, I won this shit?
Hey, Locke said like Drake, when you got a problem, now you got to walk around it. Drake said you got to walk around that problem now. Is that what you told him, Coach?
I mean, at the end of the day, like I tell my kids, always remain humble. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, whether he was with us or whether he wasn't with us, at the end of the day, I mean, it's all motivation. So, I mean, we're going to keep pushing forward.
Coach, now, again, a lot of people was on my head, and I think they was at me. But I feel like they were not understanding what I was saying by saying that, you know, in all honesty, I think most people thought that Sandy Creek was the favorite to win because of the people that they have on their team, the roster. They have a McDonald's All-American. They have a guy that possibly is a one-and-done player. My question is, what was your game plan going in to stop not only him or slow him down, but the other guys that they have? Miles Rice, who's a really good point guard, he's going to Washington, and some of their other guys. That's where the conversation, to me, I think, was a little confused. So what was your game plan?
I mean, the biggest thing was understanding that, I mean, of course, Jabari is Jabari. He's going to get some points here and there. So you're not going to be able to fully stop him completely. But the goal was to contain. And I mean, I think we did a phenomenal job in that. When you actually look at Antoine Lord, who did a phenomenal job, who was only a sophomore. He did a phenomenal job on Jabari all night. And I mean, he actually picked up his 4th foul which some of the fouls that he picked up, in my opinion, was questionable. But he picked up his 4th foul in the 3rd quarter. And for a sophomore to play with that poise throughout the 4th quarter, because I didn't pull him. And he didn't pick up that 5th foul. So that was big. But also Josh Dorsey. I mean, Josh Dorsey did a phenomenal job on Miles Rice. And like I said, it's a lot of things that don't always show up for Josh Dorsey when you talk about stats. But, I mean, he does a phenomenal job on the defensive end for us. And, I mean, he's about our number 1 defensive stopper when you actually be honest. Because, I mean, we put him on Miles Rice during the state championship game, yes. But, I mean, he has guarded R.J. Felton. I mean, he actually held R.J. to 5 points the second time. So, I mean, that's phenomenal within itself.
So I think what you just said right there was important. Was you allowed the kid to play with foul trouble, and I think oftentimes coaches don't trust the players to play in those type of situations, and that to me is pretty big. So I commend you because I know how hard it is to win a state championship, especially
how hard you never won one.
You mean you have to never coach high school basketball before?
I'm just talking. Hey, I got to get you before you get me.
You ain't go. I wasn't even talking to you.
Nah, I know, but
and Dre in his head, Dre don't coach. Dre be on the phone on the computer all day.
How did I catch a stray? That's all I want to know. How did I have nothing to do with that?
Hey,
all right, my bad, Bryce. Keep going.
All I was saying is, bro, I congratulate you because that's a huge accomplishment, especially beating the team that you beat. Can you talk about also your point guard and that matchup that your point guard had with Miles Rice?
I mean, it's huge, but I mean, Miles, if you actually look at the game, and I mean, Miles never really truly played directly against Richard the whole night. He more so guarded other people. And I don't know whether that was their design to try to hopefully keep him out of foul trouble or whatever. But I mean,
Coach, you can't run from that work.
Nah. And like I said, I mean, for us, I mean, I never put Richard on Miles all night because, like I said, the game plan was definitely different. And I mean, that was what Josh was tasked with. And I mean, he handled that exceptionally well. But in regards to Richard, I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, he did every little thing that you could ask for offensively for us. From taking care of the basketball to scoring when he needed to score to actually facilitating getting other guys involved.
Coach, I got to ask this. Locke said on the show that, hey, man, nobody knew this would happen. Nobody outside Augusta knew this would happen, right? I want to know how y'all felt coming into this game. Did y'all feel like, yo, we come in and we're going to knock them off or we're going to upset them? Is that anything that y'all said, or were you guys feeling like, hey, I'm just as good as these guys or better than them?
As I said in an interview that I had right after the game, I said a lot of people talk about Savannah basketball, a lot of people talk about Atlanta basketball, but we got good basketball players here in Augusta as well. And I mean, I don't take nothing from that. When you sit there and you look at my team top to bottom, yeah, I don't have guys that have stars, but I got talent on my team as well. And I mean, so you look at Richard Visitation. I mean, phenomenal player. Actually was number 3 in the state for assists at one point this year. I mean, you look at Devin Pope. Devin Pope was averaging about 20 points a game throughout the whole entire season. And then Corey Trotter, my big guy. I mean, he averaged a double-double. He done put up 30 points a couple of games as well. So, I mean, those 3 players, not including Josh Dorsey, who's very big for us defensively, and then he can actually put up points on the offensive end as well. So those 4 players, I mean, yeah, they got Jabari Smith. Yeah, they got Miles Rice. They got Deshaun Proctor, and then they got this freshman kid. But like I said, we got good basketball players as well.
Coach, a year ago, what you lost in the state finals against Woodward Academy, who had a top player, had the unicorn. What's his name?
Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler. Did you know a year from now that you was going to win the state finals? Oh, after losing that game. Like, what did you say to your kids after that game then for them to be back here a year from now to win it against another McDonald's All-American? You played one last year, you lost. Then you come back this following year, played another one, and you win. So I just want to know what was the process in this entire what's been the process this entire year during COVID and everything?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is when you look at the team from last year to the team this year. I mean, they're totally two different teams. I mean, I graduated 7 seniors last year, so that was big within itself. But I had some people that returned from that team to this team this year. Devin Pope was one of those guys that returned from last year's team. Jaquez Ellison was another guy that returned. Corey Trotter and Josh Dorsey, they all returned from that team from last year. So of course they played a big part in this. But the conversation was after we lost the game, they wanted to get back. The coaching staff wanted to get back. The players wanted to get back. So it was a total effort on how we're going to get back. Usually after our season is over, usually we take about 2 weeks off and we get back in the gym, we start working. That's usually how it goes. However, of course, COVID hit and then school actually went out. So we wasn't able to get back in until about the second week or the first week of June. And we wasn't able to get in the gym at that time. So you could do conditioning stuff, but you couldn't do no ball work or drill work or anything like that. So, I mean, those guys was outside doing conditioning, lifting weights, because our weight room was under construction at the time. So we was actually lifting weights outside. So I think the commitment piece started when we lost the game last year, but everything pretty much took shape when we started working out in the off season in June once we got back from the whole COVID ordeal.
Coach, I know Dre's about to ask you this question any second now. After you won the state championship, when you walked into the locker room, wherever it was, he gonna ask you if you shimmied.
I wouldn't even think about that, bro.
Shimmy.
But good question. I wouldn't think about that though.
I did not shimmy. But, when I walked in the locker room, man, they caught me. I seen the cups when I first walked in the locker room. So I knew they was gonna throw water, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for that. But then they had somebody behind the door with the whole cooler. So when they caught me, it caught me off guard. But no, I didn't shimmy.
But it sounds like it was a great feeling, though.
Yeah,
it was, definitely was.
That's a huge win and a huge. I mean, to win state championship, that's huge, man. That's huge. It's big time.
I want to know what's going on in Augusta, period. You guys are good. Grovetown is good. Evans was good. Like, what is happening in the water down in that Augusta area while the basketball is going crazy right now?
Like I said, I mean, Augusta has always been a good area for basketball. I mean, people don't sit there and always take notice. But Augusta has always been a good area for basketball. So, like I said, I mean, it's about time that some people start taking notice.
Coach, we tried to get you guys in the Lemon Street Classic, and we couldn't make it happen because of the COVID restrictions and all that stuff. And I remember in some meetings and everybody saying Cross Creek wants to be in the top bracket. We got to put Cross Creek. They pushing now. They won't be in that top bracket. They want that matchup. So I feel like you knew kind of early that you guys were going to be really special. Or is that just your way? Do you always want to schedule as tough as you possibly can to get your team ready?
I mean, that's the mentality. I mean, if you want to be the best, you need to sit there and play the best. That's has been my conversation with my guys since day one. And I mean, we're not going to run from nobody. I mean, I don't care how many stars you got, whatever. I mean, we're going to try to play and schedule the best. And it was tough. It was tough for my guys not being able to be part of the Lemon Street Classic because they were looking forward to it. And then we played North Augusta. I think we played North Augusta earlier that week or that week before, and then something came back that they had somebody that tested positive, and of course we had a quarantine for a couple of days, and I mean it was like, man, this is crazy. But I mean, we did our quarantine time, and then we was able to get 2 days of practice in once we got back, and I mean we went and played in the Tournament of Champions after that.
Good stuff. Do you feel like we talk about the need for teams to come to Atlanta and play, and when we talk about that, I think in one respect we are talking about the competition and the bump, but we know that there's good basketball in other areas. Like we've often shouted out Middle Georgia, South Georgia for having really good basketball, like you say, Savannah, Augusta. We've done that, but I think more so sometimes we talk about from a media standpoint to allow all the media that covers a lot of the state to make sure that they get a good opportunity and a stage to see you guys. Is that something that you guys think about, or are you just really scheduling based on the toughness of the other team that you can go up against?
I mean, we schedule because of, like I said, toughness is big on actually getting. The goal is to make a playoff run every year. That's what the goal is. So, of course, we want to play playoff teams that are going to make a run as well, or teams that possibly have the opportunity to play for a state championship. That's the goal every year. And like I said, I mean, I've been fortunate enough. I mean, I got guys that are committed to the process that come in and work every day. So, I mean, that helps a long way when those guys come in. They're committed to doing the conditioning stuff outside, doing the weightlifting, and then getting in the gym. So, yeah.
Coach, early in the game against Sandy Creek, Jabari kind of had it going.
Yeah.
Moment of truth, honestly, were you like, uh-oh? Kind of moment, like he made a couple threes early where that the fact that he had it going early, did that rattle you at all?
Nah, because I mean we watched plenty of film on Jabari, and I mean I done seen him play on the AAU circuit as well. I mean I know what he's capable of, and I know how he can get hot at any given time. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I will say this. You know, my guys are always ready for the compete and ready for the competition. So
they ready for the smoke.
Yeah.
Battle tested, they were ready to go. Coach, what are practices like? How is Corey Trotter in practice?
Corey Trotter is a leader. That's the first thing I should say. I mean, he leads by example, leads by his play. I mean, he comes in, he works hard every day on both ends of the floor, never taking a day off. Just want to sit there and grind every day and get better every day.
Coach, do you feel like some of your players get under recruited just because of the area you in Augusta?
I mean, I think a lot of kids in this area gets under recruited. Like I said, it's a lot of good basketball players, not only on my team, but I mean other teams as well. I mean, but you know, a lot of them get overlooked.
Hey, Coach, you too humble.
Listen. And media trained. He's not falling for none of the you know what I'm saying? I try to set him up with a couple of yummies, and he's not going for it.
Hey, you try to set him off rip, dog. You try to set him off rip. You charging me up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's dope, man. That's dope.
Oh, Bryce, we gotta throw you under the bus. It's gonna be every show. Coach, I one thing that we were talking about off show before we started was I knew how hard it was to stay in front of Richard Visitation. I want to make sure I say his name right. But going back and watching that game again, I felt like down the stretch he was so good. Dealing with the press, dealing with when those traps started to come in the second half, it was like he was impossible to, you know what I mean, to bottle up. Like as soon as you think you got him bottled up, he splits a double team. He's out in the middle of the floor and he's kicking to a wide open teammate. What has it been like to coach a guard like that?
I mean, like I said, it's always good to have not only a good point guard, but a guy that understands the way your mind works when it comes to playing the game. And I will say that about Richard. I mean, he pretty much like he always asks a question, Coach. Well, what would I do in this situation, Coach? Well, how do I react to this? He's always looking for ways to get better, not only through skill work, but also just mentally. He challenged himself, so that's been a positive. I mean, like I said, the kid came in from day one, and he was grinding from day one. He came in like he been at Cross Creek for all 3 years, coming into his senior. He never missed a beat, so he kept putting in work, and the work showed.
It says a lot.
I'm always a firm believer, I'm a firm believer that if you have a point guard that is really good and is tough mentally, that knows how to win games, you can always win games. Like you can go really far. Like that's always been my motto. So even in the state playoffs, we were choosing different schools and stuff like that. And I for the most part, I chose schools that had good backcourts, good guards, because I feel like that they can take you, as far as they can. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah.
Coach, you got a couple other guys that I wanted to make sure that I asked about. I feel like sometimes looking at a team that I can guess who the hardest working kid is, but you may be wrong, but you take those stabs. That Dorsey kid really struck me. Josh Dorsey really struck me as maybe that kid, or the kid that's willing to sacrifice the most. Am I wrong there? Or tell me about Josh Dorsey.
He had to sacrifice a good bit, because like I said, when you asking him to guard the best player and you asking him to do that for an entire game, of course, okay, I'm asking you to do that, but okay, scoring wise, you gotta sacrifice some stuff there in order for you to sit there and have that energy going and say, okay, I'm gonna play this guy for the entire game, especially when there's their best player. So I definitely would say he had to sacrifice some things. But the thing that I will say is he never complained about sacrificing anything. It was always about the team. And at the end of the day, we got this motto of we over me. And these guys understand it's not about any individual on the team. It's not about any individual coach. It's just about the team. It's about Cross Creek basketball. That's it.
So, Coach, after you've now won the big one, you got to say championship. What's next for your program? How do you build off of that?
We're gonna take a normal time, take 2 weeks off, and then after 2 weeks, we're gonna get back to the grind. Like I said, the goal is to sit there and be as successful next year as we were this year.
So, Coach, I'm pretty sure you already looked at all the schools in 3A and see who's losing players. Do you think you can do a repeat?
I think it's a possibility if the guys come in and continue with the same work ethic, the same effort every day. Like I said, it's a process, but every day means something. Every day matters.
Coach, I would imagine first state championship in school history, you're probably not paying for many dinners around town, man. Are they treating you good?
Oh, everybody treating us very well.
Now, what was it any pressure that the girls got a chance to play before you guys and they had already taken care of business? Was it any pressure, or did you feel like that was even more of a sign that you guys were going to win?
I think it wasn't no pressure. Like I said, my guys, we did our normal routine that we always do. And then I allowed them to come out. So they watched the first half and then they came back out during the fourth quarter and got to see the girls. But no, it was no pressure. Like I said, we walk into every game thinking that we got an opportunity to win the game. So it's never no pressure.
Gotcha. Well, Coach, great win. amazing win for the program, amazing win for the Augusta area.
Yes.
To the boys and the girls teams at Cross Creek. First state championships in school history for both, and you get them both in the same year. Yo, AD is probably the happiest AD in all of Georgia right now.
I'm telling you.
but congratulations to you, Coach. Hey, tell AD, man, we need new shooting machines. I need one of them bat boards that light up. Now's the time to ask, Coach. You should be able to get whatever you want now.
Hey, our AD is the girls' coach as well, so yeah.
Hey, if we come down there, we need to see the banner. Because I seen schools win state championships and they don't put a banner up. And it gets on my nerves when schools do that. You got to show the history.
A lot of stuff coming.
I like.
Hey, they might name the gym after you, Coach, after a few years now. We'll call it Coach K.
I love it. Coach, we appreciate
before you go. If I'm around, because I mean, you never know when next season, whatever happens, who knows. Next season, because your parents and Booster Club and it was at me, I'm going to get outside of 285 and I'm going to come to a Cross Creek game. You have my word. You have it on camera. You have it on podcast. I will be there.
Hey, only reason he's saying it because you're a nuke. Because we had plenty of high school coaches on here, and he's never said that.
Beg Bryce to come outside 285 and he won't.
We beg, everybody's been.
I don't even
Coach, you're special. To get Bryce out of 285.
Listen, I don't even want to go past McEachern for AAU. I live 2 miles away. Okay, so it ain't personal to anybody. But yeah, I mean, okay, if you want to call it the bond, whatever, that's fine.
But Coach, if you in the city, we got you. Well, I got you.
Sure.
I'm in on that, Coach.
Hey, stay away from that guy under you because he will have you out.
Hey, me and Coach gonna be family.
Coach, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Nice meeting you, man.
Likewise.
That's a huge win, man.
Man, cool.
That's a huge win for that.
But you know what? I can see I can see his team having his personality.
Yes.
Because he's very humble. And I could tell they like he just said, they came in the game like it was a normal game and they did their job and did what they're supposed to do.
You know what though? And I've been watching just the March Madness tournament games today. I've only watched 2, of course, it just started. But the coaches to me that are like the most calm, you know what I mean? Like they're not intense. They're still playing their game. They're going through their game plan like it's a normal game.
Yeah.
They win. You know what I mean? Or they're putting themselves in position to win. The ones that come into the tournament like, we got to do, and you all uptight and you might change something up or
no.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the funny thing. When you see a coach don't dress up all year, but then the state playoff come, they be wearing
That's
suits.
a good idea. And now it's
Twin
like
did that all season.
And you walk in the locker room and your kids looking at you like, what?
Coach, you fresh, but
right. So they think like this game might mean something for real. They come out shoot
right
on the field.
Coach didn't, and he is right though. It doesn't look. I didn't see anything that they switched up. Jabari came out going early. There's a lot of talk about Jabari after that game too. But going back, I watched it again. Jabari hooped.
How many did he finish with?
He hooped.
19.
And when I say that, I'm not saying like he was just killing or whatever. Like they forced him into some tough shots, but like he was hooping though. He was hooping.
Let me tell you something. Wichita State is about to lose to Drake. Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's.
They win?
Yes.
They beat who?
Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's.
That's a great win.
That's a good win.
So I'm about to be 0-2 in the bracket.
That's a good win. Oh man, you know what's funny? I haven't even done my brackets. Someone paid me to do a bracket. I haven't even done it.
Time out. You ain't do it, or you can still do it though.
Hey, you see, hey fam, my boy Coach Reedy, CVCC. My guy, I'm always represent.
How do you always get gear like this?
Every school in Georgia, high school, college,
This
JUCO,
school's in Alabama.
post grads,
How you getting all this stuff, bro?
you get from
called
everywhere, bro.
Politicking.
Hey, so real quick, breaking the action. I want to appreciate everyone who took their time to support the Georgia Man Up raffle. I really appreciate it. It is a huge piece to our organization. It allows kids in the organization to sell raffle tickets and to help pay their fees. Like I can't even imagine. I can't even explain to y'all how big that is. For kids who are in a tough situation and need assistance. So it's huge. I appreciate everybody's support. I won't go into no huge kind of spiel about it, but it is a huge piece of our organization, how we continue to operate and help kids. So thank you. I'm going to be using tonight for the drawing this little number generator. So you won't see me reach my hand in a bucket. I'm going to press a button. Numbers are going to flash, and that's how you're going to know.
Can I ask you a question before you do the drawing? Did you put your name in the raffle, or did you?
No.
Did Dave? Anybody? Dave?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Now I was wondering, because if like you win on your own raffle and you get your own flat screen, like
I mean, that's never happened.
You know what it's gonna say? It's gonna say anonymous.
That's never happened before, so I don't know.
Although you have a nice flat screen, you really don't need another one.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm cool. Yeah, but I didn't enter, but I did beg for money for other people to enter to help.
You know what? I don't think people understand how difficult it is to make ends meet when you have an independent partner. This shit, it's not like this shit, like you got the, you know what I'm saying? Like this is it's almost like a part-time job because like you got to send this stuff out so you can get, and then pay for your events on time. You know what I mean? You want to pay for your media guy on time or whatever you need. You want to pay for your basketball, your gym time $50 to $100 an hour sometimes.
Yes.
Like this, like let's not get it confused here. Like
uniforms,
like uniforms are over $1,000. Let's not act like people are like getting rich off this here. You know what I'm saying? So
at all. Look, our raffle really honestly helps cut down the amount that I spend out of pocket. But I have we've done this raffle ever since I started. We've started with Georgia Man Up. We've done a raffle of some sort. And I've always spent money out of pocket. Like it's the norm. So now it just helps reduce the amount I spend out of pocket. And I'm appreciative for that. All right, we're gonna draw the winner. Let me make sure I got this. So I'm gonna press this little button here. Y'all gonna be able to see the number count, and we'll know who won. Number 2639. 2639, ticket number 2639. I hope you're watching. I hope y'all screaming. You just want a 65-inch TV, flat screen TV. I hope you're excited. I know we have our team mom watching the show. Feel free to comment and tell us who won the ticket. We can announce their name or where they're from. Now, one thing I will say, if you're someplace like far, like you're gonna have to pay to get that TV shipped to you. You just won the TV. But
I'm saying they can't pick the TV up from a store or anything like that.
No, it's something we actually purchased.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can arrange to have it dropped off, but if you're in another state and we have to ship it,
it's gonna be costly.
So mystery winner 2639.
Did I have a name on it?
I have the numbers. Hold on a second. Let me get the name. I'm sure I'm getting a text message with the name.
I can't believe Wichita State lost to Drake.
Oh,
But you know what? I'm not really surprised because they only had 21 points at halftime. I'm 0 for 2 so far in my bracket. I might as well not even look at it. Well, I can still look at it, but I'm off to a bad start.
I haven't even done a bracket.
You know, you can always do
I didn't
one.
do it either.
You can still do one, like, you know what I mean? Today was just a playing games, I think, anyway.
Oh, okay. I just been busy.
These two games are playing games, I think. I don't know about the next one. I don't know if the next one's a playing game.
I think the actual field starts what? Sunday?
Nah, probably tomorrow. Saturday, probably.
Huh. I didn't fill out a bracket either. Not yet. I guess I will after these playing games are over. I don't have a feel for many of the teams. I know Houston is one of the best teams I saw, especially defensively.
Houston, you got
Bro, you got everybody. Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois.
Gonzaga, Baylor.
Let me tell you something. Illinois, they could win the national championship. Fighting Illini, shit. I don't know if you've seen them this year. But Io DeSumo,
Bernard McQueen.
shit. Michigan.
He said busy for real. So, man, y'all looking forward to this weekend? We have the opening, the first official AAU tournament.
I guess we can talk about that now. We got another guest coming, but I guess we could talk about AAU.
Who the next guest?
You don't pay attention to the chat.
Bro, I got like 30 chats going on at one time, bro.
No, there are no suckers in our circle, so you know that. I'll let Bryce go. Bryce, how are you feeling coming into the first AAU weekend?
Bro, I've been coaching AAU for 15 years.
Just another weekend.
I mean, it's always.
I don't get a little excited, Bryce.
I mean, I think it's hard for me because I didn't coach high school basketball this year, so I do have the itch to get back out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I took a break, so in that regard, yeah, I'll be happy to be back out there. But like at this point, I feel like I'm a savvy vet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I ain't too,
I still get excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm not now like that. Like 2 summers ago, I'm gonna be honest with you. 2 summers ago, when we had that real live period before COVID, and I had Bret Hart and CJ Jackson, DJ Patrick, and JD Diamond, I was nervous, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Because I knew we were good, and I knew a lot of coaches were coming to watch because they were calling me before the tournament, before the games and stuff to see who we had and stuff like that. They was calling. So I knew it was going to be a lot of people watching. And we were the very first game on Friday night. So in that regard, like I was excited, but I was also very nervous because I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't never coached in front of, I think it might have been, I don't even know, man. It was like 60 or 70 coaches watching.
See, and I think that's why you're probably not excited.
Yeah.
Like the coaches on that baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. They ain't never seen that.
The biggest difference.
Yeah, they ain't never seen that before. And it was from the moment that first court when you walk in McEachern, there was no open seat.
No.
And we ain't talking about like a seat every 3 or 4 feet. No, we talking about seat from the moment you walk on that first court, probably through the second court. It wasn't no open seats. So yeah, that's probably what it is. But I mean, I still get excited because I do hope that, and I don't know what it is now, but I do hope that like Division II coaches and NAIA and JUCO coaches come because we still have kids that will go to any level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like We have plenty of them that will go to any level. They're not big upping anybody, and they want an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody else. And I do feel bad for them because they never got a fair shot. Like that's the one thing that bothers me. Because since Marcus Foster to the next group, like that group last summer, they just never they didn't get to play in front of coaches ever.
Playing in front of coaches is a underrated experience. I've never not been in a gym where if it's coaches in there that the intensity doesn't get cranked up.
Yeah.
And it's just a different energy, it's a different vibe, totally different feel when it's coaches in the gym.
Right, here's the thing about the playing in front of coaches. You get to see who people really are. You get to see who players really are. Are they going to
really like that?
Are they really like that? Are they going to get nervous? Are they going to come down and shoot every single time and make themselves look bad? You're going to get to see how their parents react. Trust me, we've seen it all. Because when it's a baseline full of 80 coaches and scholarships could be on the line, people start getting beside themselves.
The defense tends to pick up a little bit too, which I like.
Yeah, the intensity definitely goes up.
And here's the thing: the group of guys that I have now, I have no doubt in my mind that if it was a real live period, it would look like it did 2 summers ago. I believe that, but what can you do? And honestly, like the April live period, they probably wouldn't even play their best basketball because you're nervous. Like you know what I mean? You want to make every shot, you want to play well. You don't sometimes really play your best until the second April live period or maybe July.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was talking to a mom about that today. Her son's coming up to play with us and they're from South Georgia. And I just told her, I was like, if you've not experienced this before, just give them time. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't pressure them too early. Don't, you know what I mean? And he may come out and be like a fish to water, you know what I'm saying? And really go right away. But I've seen a lot of guys struggle. It's different.
It's tough. It is not easy, dude. We had a guard who, in my heart, I felt like he was a Division I guard. I felt like he was at least a low major guard. He was athletic. He was bouncy. He was big. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he did, as he could, but he didn't because it's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people watching you, especially when you're on a good team, a good independent program at the time. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Talking about JD?
No, JD shot the ball really well. I'm talking.
I feel like JD was D1 too, and he didn't.
No, JD was he was Division I. He was Division I. I was actually talking about Kendall. I thought Kendall was a Division.
Kendall was good.
Yeah, he was good.
He just struggled to shoot during live period, and when you struggle to hit shots, that's all you get. You know what I mean? Like they'll come back and watch you, but you gotta be able to knock down shots at the end of the day.
It's tough.
And the kid is athletic, he's strong, he's physical, he has a high IQ. There's no doubt in my mind this kid is a Division I guard. And I think it's a lot of pressure. It's tough. And then you have people on the sidelines yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? Like it is not easy. And you've got to play the game the right way too. Your game has to translate. So if it doesn't translate, you know what I'm saying? You got to check so many boxes off. But
you see a lot of kids come out. And I think Bryce, I think you're right. I think we're going to see, based off what we've been seeing at camps, I feel like there'll be a lot of Division II, a lot of NAIA, a lot of JUCO coaches in the gym, even this week.
Yeah, they'll be out. Yeah, I think they'll be out.
And I think they should come out because I think they know or should know that they're going to get steals.
Yeah, they can get down. They can really get some gems. And
they're going to get a program changer this year.
Yeah,
they could.
You could get a good player that can come in and just give you quality minutes off the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you might not normally may have had a chance at. So, and the kids that are 2022 kids, they should be thankful because they probably gonna get live periods. You know what I mean? They probably gonna get them.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it were me, and I know, like I said, we had this conversation before about people going on Twitter and saying, take what you got, this and that. And, if it were me, I just don't believe in that. That's like sending your child to a school that they may not really be in love with. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not even if it has nothing to do with athletics. Like, you just go here just because. So for me, if it were me and I had the resources and the means to do it, I would push my recruitment out and I would reclass and I would go to do a year if I didn't have what I like. You know what I'm saying? If you have something that's good, okay, of course, take it. You know what I'm saying? But if you didn't,
I think that's the kicker though, Bryce, that we can't overlook, right? When we tell a kid, if you have something that's good, I think people
good is relative. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And well, I guess I'll say this, B. I think there are people who jump to extremes on one side and the other of this argument, right? I'm with you. If the kid doesn't like the school, it doesn't make any sense to commit because you're going to be in the transfer portal because you weren't happy there to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we also have to understand is the only thing that you don't like about the school can't be the label of the division. If the only thing that you don't like about that school is that it's a D2 or it's an NAIA, you're probably making a bad decision when you're not evaluating the city that school is in, academically, whether or not they have your major, what's the facilities look like, what's the basketball look like, are they winning? Like, if the only thing you don't like about the school is that they are sub D1, then you might be making a bad decision.
Yeah, I agree. And Dre, that's like if you put me in a school in North Georgia, knowing that I don't go outside of 285 and I can't function like that.
Yes.
I'm gonna function. Just being real. Like,
right.
If we're just talking about basketball, I don't go to many games out what we just talked about. I don't even go to that many games outside of the 285 area. So you expect me to go, you know what I'm saying? You're just putting yourself in a situation. It's like, it's you know what I'm saying? You got to be there. It's tough. So for me, I would just extend it and hope that COVID ends soon. And then when coaches get back on the road, give myself a fair opportunity to be recruited. Now, again, if I don't have the means or if I have something that's good, take it. Please take it by all means. But
I would just tell the kid, and in that scenario that you named, I think it's perfect. Don't tell North Georgia that they're too far out in the sticks and then go commit to Alcorn State.
Because it's D1.
Because it's D1. Alcorn State is in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi. Don't go commit there, but tell North Georgia that you don't want to go to North Georgia because it's too far. North Georgia is way closer to a city than Alcorn is.
And
don't do that.
And honestly, Dre, sometimes kids will start playing really well and they'll decide to bet on themselves. Like DJ Patrick. DJ Patrick was like, nah, bro, like I'm not going there. I don't really want to. I want to wait. I'm not going there right now. Like, I'll wait. I'm gonna bet on myself. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. But guess what? If it doesn't, guess who it's on? It's on you. If you bet on yourself and it works, then we can't say nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can anybody say to you if I bet on myself, just like you betting on yourself for whatever your career path is? You bet on yourself and it works out for you. What can I say to you? You did it. You accomplished it.
Hey, man, I would say the easiest way to bet on yourself is if you're academically strong. If you know you got grades and you can get academic money anyway, and you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there are some kids that aren't at a threat of, like, you're going to land somewhere, like you're going to get something so they can stretch it out. Man, if that's what you want to do and you got the, like Bryce said, if you got the means, you got the money to do it, chase it as long as you can chase it, man. Because you only get one time. You know, Bryce is right in a thing. You only get one time to go through this process.
Mm-hmm.
You're only gonna do it once. I mean, if you jump in that transfer portal, it's not gonna be the same as how you're going through this process one time. You only got one chance to go play AAU and play in front of coaches and all that stuff and be recruited as a high school player. So,
and it's like
I agree with you on that.
From the coach's perspective, they're looking at it like, well, you probably not really good enough to be that level anyway because you might have had something. But the kid perspective, like, well, I might be. I never got a chance to play in front of anybody. You know what I mean? So it's like nobody really knows what level everybody unless it's obvious, like, okay, that kid's clearly a Division I kid. Nobody really knows because nobody's been evaluated fairly. Nobody been, you know what I'm saying? Like
a lot of them haven't.
A lot of them have not. And the ones that committed early in the early signing period have been evaluated, were evaluated before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They were already known before COVID. Like,
yep.
And usually the kids that I have, are unsigned kids or kids that are not household names that have to blow up in the spring. They have to make a name for themselves in the spring. So without the spring, you know, you're in trouble. So, you know, all in all, like you said, you know, I'm always excited to get to get back. Like I'm about to go buy a new clipboard tomorrow because I need another one. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what excitement is, then there's your excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Bryce, are you a punch the clipboard type of guy, or is that Locke?
I don't carry the clipboard. That's Bryce.
Nah, Locke don't carry Locke. Nah, I carry the clipboard. I don't really punch nothing that I paid for, to be honest. But back in the day, I probably used to be like that when I had like middle school kids. But now I take a whole different approach. Like me and Locke have this conversation. We had this conversation all the time. We're not going back and forth for no teenager. You either going to do what we tell you to do.
Oh yeah.
Or sit your ass down.
I told the kid, I said,
job done or move out the way. Period.
Remember, I told the kid on the bench, I said, man, you ain't good enough to talk back to me.
Hey, he wasn't.
I said,
You're not good enough to talk back to me. Hey, you're a wild boy, Locke.
You know, that's just my approach. And I think when you, especially for the summertime, when you got older kids sometimes and you actually can talk to them and coach them and they ain't doing what they supposed to do, you just got to come out, bro. You just got to have a seat. You got to have a seat. So, you know.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, you got an awfully loaded roster again this year, Bryce. So I'm happy to watch you guys play.
They got to know how to play.
That's for sure. Talking about a guy that – what happened to Coach? I was about to bring him in, and then we lost him.
Oh, maybe I fell off from that.
I'm excited about the weekend because it's a ton of teams that didn't play last year that I want to see, and it's a ton of new teams that are making their debut. It's a team that is called Mamba Mentality.
Where they from?
17U. I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch them because you using the Mamba name, so you gotta have some. You gotta have some dogs.
If you using the Mamba Mentality, you got to be special.
You gotta have some players
because you don't want to get that and you got Mamba.
Your name gonna go from Mamba to Garden Snake.
Right.
You got a ton of teams. The Georgia South EJ Brown's team's coming back out this year. He got a good solid 16U. Infinite Skills 17U, 16U coming back out this year. Norcross Heat got a 17U. They're playing against one of the Georgia Canes teams.
All right.
Man up.
Yeah.
Georgia, man. You was coming. Be smooth. You was coming. Hey, you're a big kid. That's the best I've seen your big kid at camp. Ever. Yeah.
Yeah, he played well.
He looked real good at camp. I definitely want to see him match up against another 6'8" and see how he does. And if he's good. He's good. Not taking anything up. He's good. I want to see him play.
See Bryce game planning already, man. Come on,
man. You know it's a matchup.
I'm not
going to miss that I want to see. The Georgia Legacy versus Infinite Skills.
Don't they play each other?
Yeah, that's the matchup I want to see. I'm going to miss it. I'm gonna have to stream
Let
it.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something about playing them. Your first game in AAU, playing Bragg. Boy, you might be in for a long day, man, because they gonna play hard as hell.
They gonna play hard.
And they be having plays too.
Yeah, I said they gonna run some sets early.
Hey, listen, man. Nobody wants to hear us talk about AAU. They can listen to us talk about AAU in a little bit. Man, we got the champ in the building.
The champ is here.
In the building. The champ is here.
The champ is here. Hey.
Here.
Hey.
Coach.
Hey, he can't do nothing but champ.
What's up, fellas? Man, how y'all doing, man?
It's back to back, Coach.
LT.
What's going on?
Lock, what's good, my G?
What's going on?
Dude,
Right, you good, bro?
Chilling.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having me, man.
No, Coach, thank you for coming on. You blessing our show.
It's just a little old me, man. I ain't doing it.
Coach, it was a lot of smoke on our show after y'all won. Mark Edwards called me on the phone. I put him on speaker. He was talking reckless. On the show, we talked about the level of difficulty in what you just did. What you and your staff and your team, because I know what you're gonna say, Coach. I know what you're gonna say. What the level of difficulty in what y'all just did? Winning 7A, when 7A was the toughest classification. Coming back, winning 6A, when 6A is the toughest classification. Coach, how?
Oh man, I mean, first of all, the thoughts and opinions of Mark Edwards is not the thoughts and opinions of the program. So I just want to put that out there right now. Mark's a controversial guy. I try to avoid controversy, but it is what it is. So the question that you just asked, it was extremely tough, man. I mean, because the parity in high school basketball, man, the past 2 years have been remarkable. It's been really, really good, man. And not to put knock on anyone, program or what the case may be, but I look back on those 10 games, man. I think Centennial was the toughest one. Those dudes were different, man. And if you didn't pay attention to them dudes throughout the course of the year, playing those guys in their building was tough, man. That was tough. So I say the run last year, led by Sam Hines and Nash Kelly, the run we went on last year was it was tough because of who the opponents were. But we got played 3 games in our own building. We played Etowah and Shiloh and Berkmar in our own building. Then we went on the road and played 4-game Milton, then Macon at Grayson. But we got 3 of those games in our own building. And the game against Shiloh, that still sticks out of my mind because it was an overtime game. Not because it's an overtime game we won, just because of the physical force that those dudes played with. And it caused us to rise up and play at a different level. And to me, that's what it's all about, man. Guys getting an opportunity to play on a big stage and not being fearful of the moment. I think we did a good job of doing what we do last year and not try to get involved and do what other teams did or play faster. We defended and we kept the games in the 60, 65 range because we knew we could win that game, win in that fashion. This year's team is a totally different, man, totally different makeup. We could score a little bit better, but I never thought we got to the level defensively that I wanted to get to. Even on the playoff run when we still defended at a pretty good clip, we just had a lot of mental errors on the road. But we had to go on the road after the first game. We had to take a trip to Savannah. We had to go to Lanier. We had to
some tough places to win.
No, man, extremely difficult, man. Extremely difficult. And you never know what you're gonna get. Well, you do know what you're gonna get, but I mean, you're not gonna get calls. I mean, it is what it is, and you got to be 10, 15 points better than when you're on the road to make up for whatever the case may be. But that road this year, because we had to go on the road for 3 games, well, you can say 4 games because you're on the road, Macon on the road for Final Four game in Centennial. extremely challenging, but extremely satisfying at the same time because the best wins to me, high school or college, the road wins, and we were fortunate enough to go and get them when we need them.
So, Coach, you said something about Centennial. So I said it on the show because everybody pick you guys. I said I picked Centennial because I said if Willard beat Centennial, y'all was gonna win state championship because I knew Centennial after they beat Evans in Evans in Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that momentum they had going and playing against y'all. I knew that's probably gonna be one of y'all toughest matchups.
No question about it, Locke. I mean, and you would have been a fool not to get those dudes fighters chance in that game because they were good.
Mm-hmm. They're good.
What they do well, what they did well, to me, it's like running the ball and playing defense in football. When you can run the ball and play defense, that travels. And what they did travel. I mean, they shot the blood out of the basketball. They had 21 points from the three-point line at halftime. And I told our guys at halftime, they made some tough shots. They did. But however, we wasn't there soon enough to give them opportunity to get set and loaded to shoot that shot. So we had to do a better job to run those dudes off the three-point line. And we did a remarkable job of it in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they started hitting a few more. But we found our defensive rhythm. When we found our defensive rhythm, we was able to get, be able to get opportunities at the basket, which is when we were good. We get Isaiah driving downhill, Jaheim turn over his left shoulder with a baby hook, and then Caleb mid-range jump shot. Then Max found a corner three-point shot. AJ found one. Javon found one. So we just got into a flow because we defended better. They took a couple long ones. We got some outlets, and it kind of put us in not on the defense, so to speak. We got more offensively on the offensive end because we was able to get some stops, play defense. But those dudes, man, on the road in their building, we had to be great. And we were good enough. We were great long enough to find, again, a defensive rhythm and escape with a 10-point win.
Coach.
Coach, y'all played Cale High School, but you don't know how bad I wanted Lee County to play against you guys.
South Georgia, man.
I wanted that so bad. You versus Kervin Davis.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Me and Kervin talk every week up until the Final Four. It was just, Coach, tell me about this, help me with this. I mean, like, and to watch them right before we played Centennial, because their game started at 5 and I started at 7:30, or it started at 6, what it is. I was able to watch most of the first half, and they were right in that ball game. And my mom, who's in South Georgia, she had the same feeling. She had the same warning. She was like, yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. 2 South Georgia boys getting an opportunity to lead their team in Macon to win a state championship. Would have been great. It really would have been great, man. And because we don't always get the opportunity to do that with being South Georgia dudes. We fighting an uphill battle most of the time, but that would have been great to see.
Coach, I gotta say, once you guys made it to the state championship, picked you guys to win. I picked you guys to beat Centennial, as a matter of fact, as well. But at the beginning of the season, I didn't pick you guys to win a state championship because I felt like the loss of Sam Hines was just going to be eventually just going to be too much. I felt like he was that special of a player, and he brought so much to that team. Can you talk about a little bit about like getting the other guys to step up and plug in and play, and what were your thoughts feeling like, hey, we got to next man up, we got to replace this kid?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you always going to have a pivotal piece graduate or transfer out or an injury because Isaiah got hurt his freshman year. It happens. And what happens along the way, you get guys that follow Sam Hines, who was a leader last year. You got guys that follow, and they saw him in practice, and they saw him in games, and they saw him work on his own. They saw him put in extra time after practice. And so while the physical presence of Sam Hines was missed, his work ethic was instilled into Jaheim Hudson, especially in practice. So you don't feel it as much as you think you would when you have a guy that was physically side by side and competing against him every day in practice, because they never played on the same team in practice. They always compete against each other. So Jaheim got to see what it feels like to not go half speed in practice every single day. Like if you don't go full speed, if you don't go hard every single day, he's going to abuse you, because he had matured, talking about Sam, matured to a level that he didn't know any other way. And that's who Jaheim was every single day. Jaheim was our vocal leader. He was our heart leader. He was our communicator, and he made guys communicate in practice every single day. Not only that, the way his engine and way his motor run, if he's going hard, he's basically going to call dudes out that's not going hard. And then, you want that, because now a peer is calling you out. And now it's like, well, if he's calling me out, now coaches see it. We already see it. And now you further down the depth chart. So while the physical production piece was there, was missing, because Sam was a 17 and almost 11 guy last year. It was other guys that stepped up and contribute in other ways. But the physical leader and voice of the basketball team, had a sophomore that was there as a leader physically, mentally, vocally. But Jaheim Hudson, man, was that and more. So miss Sam, love Sam, but we were good. We were good that we had a guy that mimicked his work ethic in practice and took up some of the slack.
Coach, I'm sure you've probably gotten this question quite a few times at this point. It's probably I don't know. This might bother you, but do you feel some type of way that you guys didn't get an invite to Geico after winning the state championship?
No, man, I don't. And it's true. It's really not, because we didn't handle our business early on in the year. We did a few games that you just can't drop if you want to get to that land. You know what I mean? Like every game really, really matters. And to see two teams, in the state, those dudes ran off 25 plus.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, man. Like it's hard to do, and kudos to them. So no, Bryce, to be honest with you, man, I look at it as we got work to do, and it wasn't our time, because if it was our time, we would have been mentally tough enough to absorb runs by team and find ways to win basketball games. Now, I think we played a pretty challenging schedule. I think 6A was just as tough as 7A, if not tougher, on a team by team basis. So that plays a part in it as well. But those guys are deserving, man. They're deserving. Milton is deserving. Milton beat South. They're deserving. Pace is deserving. They can't help who is in their way. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do, and they're rewarded. So we can't fault anyone but ourselves. If we had that goal set, and that's what we wanted to do. You got to take care of your business. 5 losses. You rarely will see a team with 5 losses get invited to the Dick Nationals, except for if they're, Oak Hill or Washout Academy, someone like that. But those guys are pretty consistent year in, year out with their talent level, because they go and do, things that just you really can't do consistently. So those guys are deserving, man. And now no ill will, no, it should have been us, none of that, man. Those guys are they put the work in. They got to work every single day, and kudos to them. Hopefully they go down there and represent GA well.
Coach, go ahead, Locke.
How much did Isaiah learn just sitting on the bench after he got hurt last year, and how did he mature over the year to prepare himself for this year?
That's a real question, Locke. And while it's hard to really gauge how much he learned, I will say the vocal piece and the overall maturity, because when he was hurt after the initial surgery and the pain was going and we was on the run, I'm having to tell him to move out of the way, because in the huddle, because now he's barking instructions when guys come to the sideline for timeouts. Hey, man, can you slide over for a minute? I need to relay some information. So I saw him do more of that, which is a sign of maturity, where he can see what's going on in the game and he can say, hey, Nash, watch the slip on this action that we run is wide open, because I heard that time and time again, and we will find that action. So I think while you never want to see a kid out, I think it was one of the best things for him, because the game slowed down for him as a starry-eyed, talked about freshman, hype freshman, ranked freshman, whatever the case may be, and thrown in the fire with all these level of expectations. It could be tough, but him having to sit the last month and a half, 2 months of the year, and then, you know, the amount of film that we watched over the course of the summer, I can tell his mental and basketball IQ jump leaps and bounds because he's much more communicative and he's able to see things happen, not with his passion, but before it actually happened. He can put guys in situations where help us be successful. I mean, the kids, I think his best attributes is passion of how he passes basketball right now. And the rest of the game got to catch up with him so he can, you know, be a really, really dominant force. But yeah, that brief period of him sitting, I think it helped his mental grow a little bit more, and then it also helped some of the guys in return be able to trust him a little bit more because he was able to put them in situations before they actually, you know, to get there. So I think it was big for him.
Coach, quite often on this show, I've mentioned how Isaiah reminds me of John Wall. Not necessarily as explosive as John Wall with jumping ability.
Not yet.
But
Not yet.
Just watching him move and pass your mind. But I've also said that probably the best passer in high school that I've seen since Sharif.
It's uncanny, man, and you have to not find yourself being a fan on some of the passes that he's made, because we see it in practice and we see it in game. All three coaches have had this perplexed look on his face and like, how now? John Wall
passes, man, like
way, yeah, like it's crazy, and it's not something that work on. You know what I mean? Like, you don't work on those kind of passes day in, day out, man. We two-hand chest pass, we, you know, Euro pass, we skip hammer pass, but to be running in transition, a ball gets spent between four people and it falls into a hand, the kid dunks it. Man, you can't practice that. That's just an ability that God-given ability that, you know, we're not all blessed to have it. So, well, I say all the time, his best attribute right now is how he set his teammates up and how he passes basketball. I think some of us got a chance to see the work he's been doing on shooting the basketball in the state championship game. The kid was 3 for 4 from three-point line, and he was in foul trouble early on. I think if he plays 6 more minutes and not sit 6 more minutes, he probably gets 25 because he was, you know, feeling himself a little bit. That's the Isaiah to come, I think, because we're going to put the work in. We're going to be in the gym. We're going to work on those things. But, yeah, man, Sharif, like on the path, I think it might be a little premature because Sharif is about to be a freaking right outside lottery pick. But for that kid to be a second semester sophomore right now going into a junior, it's pretty damn good to on how he passes basketball and how he set teammates up.
What is I mean, I'm assuming that after you win a couple state championships, a lot of people are gonna want to enroll. what are the requirements? What is the dedication? What does it take to be a Wheeler basketball player?
Look, man,
everybody can't play for Wheeler.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it with me, like, man, I'm a no nonsense kind of dude, man. I heard you just say about, you know, you're not good enough to tell me anything. Like, I mean, like, I'm a no nonsense. I want to be so blue collar, man, that it ain't even funny. Like, I don't care about the lights and the cameras and all that. That doesn't do it for me. I mean, I think that gives kids a false sense of what success really looks like. And a lot of kids want to come for the stuff, so to speak. They want to come for the stuff. You gotta be a little nasty, man. You gotta be a little nasty, man, because I'm a defensive minded guy first. In June, man, it's 3 weeks now. Those 4 weeks. We don't do nothing offensively, man. I'm putting the staple in on how we're gonna grind defensively. How you gonna guard man to man? How you gonna be in the help side? How you gonna rotate? So you have to be a little. You got to be a dude or a kid that's dedicated to making basketball your way out. It's got to be a conduit to help you get a free education, because if not, the level of work that you're going to be asked to do or forced to do you probably better off not doing it, because I mean you probably taking a few years off your life, because we're gonna get after it, man. And
No, I see that Mitchell Baker style out there.
yeah, man. I mean, it's I don't want anything sexy about it. I just want to, you know,
Larry, these guys
put those to school.
Larry, these guys above you, they don't think that I can go. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you that when I played in Wheeler, and which I call it the dark gym.
Yeah, the back gym. Yeah.
I played against Wheeler in the back gym, and I gave them buckets. So Dre, Lock, don't start none of that bullshit, because y'all.
Hey man, but see, well, and I can't speak to that because
It's
before my time. It's before my time, like before my Wheeler time.
Yeah.
But I do tell you one thing though. Didn't nobody come in my gym at Mitchell Baker High School and give us buckets. That shit ain't. And that's the kind of mentality that I'm trying to create or recreate. Is dudes can't come in your house, man, and get numbers, man. They leave, you know.
They definitely wasn't having it.
Yeah, busted and disgusted, man. That's where they leave, man. And that's the mentality to speak about the culture, so to speak, man. We don't want to give dudes buckets, man. I mean, I just think about what Tiff kind of used to do about no buckets. They slogan no buckets, man. Wow, that's not a slogan of mine. That's what it's supposed to feel like, man. And dudes that are unselfish and willing to grind defensively, because if you get stops on the other end, everybody's gonna eat. Everybody's gonna eat. So that's the style, man. That's the forte, man. I want guys that are willing to work and be selfless when it comes to playing this game of basketball.
Coach, we had my bad.
Oh, you good? We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about job openings and who we like to, or who people like to see get interviews, because we always see on Twitter people floating around the same names or the same people or the same
the retreads.
Yeah. My question is, how important of a role does Shep play in your program, and what does it take for somebody like him to make a jump to become a head coach?
Great question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's been really put out there, but one of my assistants now, Coach Mark Wright, he's taking the Brookwood job.
That's dope.
Yeah, Coach Q has been with me all 4 years at Wheeler. And I spoke to the AD a couple of days ago over there, and I told him, man, it's refreshing to see a guy get an opportunity that's deserving, that does not have any head coaching experience. I mean, shit, I wasn't always a head coach. Somebody gave me an opportunity, and how can you get head coaching experience if you don't give anybody opportunity? But to see a guy that's not a retread get an opportunity, man, that's huge, because I was once that guy just 6 years ago. I only been a head coach 6 years. That was refreshing to see. But to answer that question, man, I mean, Shep is as good as they come with development. Like, he is as good as they come, and he's a really good offensive mind. Coming from his days when he was at Sprayberry, where they did a lot of stuff and they scored a lot of points. I think Shep have kind of took on my demeanor a little bit more as far as guarding the basketball, because he'll be the first to tell you he ain't like it. But now he's become a guy that's, you know, will sit down and talk and have meaningful conversations with kids about their lack of playing defense. So if I do think if Shep ever wanted to be a high school head coach, he could. I mean, it's nothing that guy doesn't, you know, really know about the game. He might not be able to talk as much ish on social media as he do if he became a head coach, but that's neither here nor there. But no, real important piece, man. And Coach Rich McCray and Coach Shep, man. I mean, Coach Shep and Coach, man. I'm blessed, man. I had a phenomenal staff this past year. I had a phenomenal staff when Coach Cam was there as well, man. I've been blessed to have some really, really quality, good basketball minds around me, and not guys that just yes guys that would just say yeah because I'm quote unquote the head coach, whatever the hell that means. Because we don't get caught up in titles, man. We coaches, we basketball coaches, we teachers, and we doing God's work, man, helping these kids reach their full potential and get to opportunity to go play the game at the next level and keeping, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their parents' pocket.
Coach, we bring on a lot of head coaches to this show, and we often talk to a lot of the assistants. And it was good listening to you just now show your assistants a lot of love, because speaking to them privately, they show you a lot of love back.
Respect.
And it's not that way with every, like, we can't have this conversation where every head coach that we bring on, the assistants don't talk about them like that. But I've talked to your assistants, and they always talk about how much they learn.
I mean, think about this, Dre, man, is what's the sense of having coaches if you're not going to let them coach? Like, seriously, like, what are they there for? Like, they're not there to carry a clipboard out to the practice floor or to, like, now these dudes are minds and men that want to pour into kids. So you got to let them do that. When I say let them as a head coach, man, they got to take on responsibility like it's their program, because truthfully it is. It's not my program. It's our program. I don't get caught up with my guy or my kid or whatever the case may be. It's our, because at the end of the day, if something happened to me, this game is going to continue to go. Will is going to fire another coach if need be. So it's got to go on. So again, what's the sense of having good coaches or having coaches period if you're not going to let them coach, man? Like I said, I'm blessed to have a couple guys in my corner that will run through a brick wall for me, and vice versa. And I'm extremely excited, extremely proud of Coach Q, man, because the AAU ranks was good to him, and then the last 4 years, I mean, we've had, a little bit of success the last 2 years, but our first 2 years at Will, man, we was trying to, change the culture and trying to, do it our way. So to see him get an opportunity this fast and to be blessed with a opportunity to go lead a 7A program, I told him he got his work cut out for him, and that's what he inspired to do. That's what he wanted to do. So I feel like the coaches that I've had the fortune to work with, man, from Coach Cam, who was a head coach and now a head coach at, man, I learn from them dudes every single day, and hopefully they do learn something from me. But man, I've been blessed, man, and fortunate to have some really, really good guys sit next to me on the bench, and when we do our real work, it's in practice, because those guys are as good as it comes.
Coach, I'm waiting to see what happens as you continue, but I want to bring it back to early on. We interviewed you early on, I think maybe first couple weeks or first couple months.
Yep.
The job at Willard. And we mentioned this on the show before. Early on, as you were trying to establish that culture, it was a lot of yapping. It was a lot of, man, I don't know, Larry, I don't know. And it was a lot of that early on.
They was on ALT ass, man, after that first year.
Well, I mean, that's like that. That's like that anywhere, man. I mean, it's what I say is all the time. It's easy to coach from the couch or the bleachers. It's really, I mean, it's extremely easy, because nobody second guess anything you say over there, because everybody are geniuses over there. My thing with this is people fail to realize that I got the job at Willard 3 days before school started. I didn't have a June with those dudes. I didn't have a summer to instill culture and toughness and work ethic. I got the job 3 days, and it was a Thursday, and that Monday we were going to school. So I met a lot of the returning guys, the EJs, the Austins, the Brandon Youngers. I met those dudes for the first time on campus, and coming from what they were accustomed to or what they were doing, it probably was night and day. So it took those dudes a little while to understand me, and the reason why I was batshit crazy in practices and why you got to go extremely, extremely hard. Not saying that wasn't what they was doing, but I mean, it was different. And so by the time we, rolled into September and October, when we could do official practice, we were just really getting to know each other, and the trust wasn't there yet. Guys want to revert back and do things that they used to do that they thought would work, but and I wouldn't let them. And so to be an 18-11 ball team and losing an Elite 8 on the road to Newton County, I think our season really started in January because now some trust is there, and you go and win 7 games in a row, and you playing in the toughest region in Georgia with the Brooks and the Westlake. So while the record wasn't indicative to what we wanted to be, we were down 20 with 8 minutes to go in the game against Newton County, and 3 minutes left. It was a 2-possession game. That was a game that could have been won. Now we go play Norcross in the Final Four. And we had to have a lot of things to go right in that fourth quarter, and they did, and we just couldn't make the plays. But year 1, actually year 2 was to me in theory my year 1 because of how late I got the job. So year 2 was we start the year, we win 9 out of 10 to start the year. We lose to I think it was McEachin at McEachin, and then we win 9 straight, and then we got hit with a couple of injuries to some key people, and they were out for long periods of time. And we played 500 the rest of the way, and then go down to Tift County and up 11 going to the fourth quarter and find a way to give it back to them. So you lose an Elite 8 game, and you 4 points away going to a Final Four, and then you go on the road and play in a place like Tifton that's extremely tough that year. You could find yourself in a Final Four and Elite 8 in 2 consecutive years, and you barely even scratch the surface. And I barely know the people in the hallways. Getting a summer in year 2 and getting a summer in year 3 is like night and day. And that's when the culture finally kind of took off and ran. And year 3 and 4, it is what it is.
No looking back. I love that. Hey, I heard this, man. Year 3 and 4, it is what it is.
I look at it. Some of the things that go on in the NBA and in colleges, man. You ask these dudes to come in and instill that culture on teenagers, well, college and older dudes. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Much harder than
enough. Yeah, it is. I mean, extremely hard. Yeah, I think in the high school game, and you don't get the full slate because we can only get with these dudes in the month of September, October to do individual workouts, and then in November they give us 3 weeks to prepare and go play our first game. So it's tough, man. It's tough, but it is what it is. We love to do it, and we're gonna continue to do what we're supposed to do. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
Coach, this year you had a ton of kids to step up that came, not even like household name kids, like AJ Burke, who me and you watched with the Cane, played with us for the Canes this summer.
Right.
You had Javon Gamery, who came and had like 3 or 4 20-point straight games this season.
4 in a row, man. 4 in a row in the middle of the year, man. It was talking about
Kyle Burns. Then you had
you talk about depth, man. We had a number of dudes who at some part in the year found themselves. And I think it's what happened with like AJ found himself early, and then he couldn't get healthy. He twists his ankle every other day. He'll get back and take 6 days off, and he'll be healthy, and he'll roll the same ankle again. So he was just
that's AJ.
Yeah, I mean, it was an up and down year for him. AJ was our most consistent shooter start the year, and he stretched the defense for us, and he was getting starters minutes early on, and then he just couldn't stay healthy. And then Javon found a rhythm that was like, Jesus Christ, that kid, he was 80 points in 4 games, and he was like, if I remember correctly, like 31 of like 40 from the 3 on that stretch. Like, it was crazy it was 21 of like 30, something like that, how he shot the basketball. I mean, 6 or 7 against Alatoona, 5 of 8 against Spray. It was just on and on and on. And he found himself in his maturity and his level of confidence went through the roof. Kyle Burns the same way early on. Kyle was probably the first guy off the bench, and then some guys started playing a little bit better, and we was trying to find that 8-9 man rotation. So we had a number of guys, man, that stepped up and grew up a little bit. And not all of them were seniors, and a couple of those dudes will be back in the fold next year. And proud to see it, man. This is kudos to the work, man. I think our 6 a.m. breakfast club that Coach Shep and Coach Rich ran, those guys were sitting in there getting it in, even though we was all virtual. Our guys was getting to the gym about 6, getting an hour 15, maybe an hour and a half, then going back home, jumping online to do schoolwork, man, because had to be a little creative to get the extra work. And then they're back for practice at 4 o'clock. Kudos to those guys, man. Basketball is important to them. Their books is important to them. they found a way to get it done. They didn't make excuses. And I'm really excited to see these dudes get an opportunity this summer, because a lot of them didn't get real opportunities last summer, you know, with pandemic, COVID and whatnot. Ready to see what these guys do when they can take somewhat of the seatbelt off a little bit and play a little bit more free, because we had a lot of guys that wanted to play last year, and they had to make sure they was doing things necessary to stay on the floor and stay off the floor. So yeah.
Coach, I want to ask you about that too. One of the things I appreciate the most about you is your support of your guys in the summer. I love seeing high school coaches out in the gym in the summer supporting their guys, and I feel like every gym I walk into, I know either when I'm coming in or when I'm coming out, I'm gonna bump into you at the gym. So, I'm
a junkie, bro. I'm a junkie, man. One month this past week, the first day we don't have practice on a Monday, I'm like, yo, I'm crazy. I'm like, I need some.
You don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. So I love the game, I do, but going to watch guys and watch just basketball in general, man. I got my break in AAU basketball, man. I mean, we played for the Celtics growing up. They would, come scoop us up down in South Georgia. I grew up, man. Like, so I'm a big AAU component. I'm a big AAU advocate. It's changed a little bit, but it's still basketball, man. And these kids need these opportunities. They need the games. They need to see what they're working on, in their individual work, transfer and translate over to what they're doing in games. And what better way, playing 2-3 games a day. And AAU, man. I mean, these guys, it's a little bit different because, you get one game on a Tuesday or Friday night, and you can have a good one or a bad one, but you got to wait a couple days typically before you do it again. You have a 9 a.m. game or a 10 a.m. game, you don't play as well. You get to do that thing all over again right about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So you get to see who's really about that life for one, and who is mature enough to shake off a bad game and then go put a good game together. That's all about maturity, and that can be something that you can, gentle note or a mental note you can write down for a kid and say, hey man, I saw you have a bad night, a bad morning against X, Y, and Z, but you came back and had a 17-point effort, and you shut your man down and he didn't score. You took 4 charges in this game. That stuff you can peel back, and you don't know that unless you go and support your kids. So that's why I'm there more than anything, man. Not just because I want to support the kid, because I just love ball, man. I just love basketball.
So we know you were junkie, but you had a little injury this year. Are you going to stop playing? You retire or?
Retire? What is that? Retire?
I mean, how many? This your second Achilles injury, right?
I've had 2 torn ACLs and 2 Achilles, man. So I might not play very much defense anymore. Now that's I turned 40 Christmas Day, and I did it on Christmas Day, but I really didn't do anything. I hit a shot, kind of walked back a little bit, and then I just pushed off. And I looked back and was like, yo, why the hell you kicked me in my calf? And it was behind me. And so then I knew exactly what it was, but it wasn't anything like I'm going to dunk a basketball, I'm running hard. No, I just pushed off, and
what kind of shoes were you wearing?
What did I have on? I had on some
low top or high top?
No, they were high. Mid Kyries. I don't know where them shoes at now though. Like,
that's the one reason why I don't really play anymore. That's the one injury that scares me. Like, I really don't want to bother with that. I'm serious with that injury.
No, and rightfully so, because that's the one. It appears to be harder for guys to come back from, because it takes so much physical work with the calf. I mean, I wish that on my worst enemy, because the first month and a half, 2 months, it's tough, man, because you're scared to put weight on it, and you scared to move quick, or whatever the case may be. But I'm mobile now. I'm in a shoe half the day, in a boot half the day. I'm back to doing things, that almost resemble a normal person right now. So yeah, man. While I will continue,
how did it restrict your coaching though, like your movement?
It didn't. Man, I went and got one of those little knee scooters, bro, and I just deal with it. The only thing I couldn't do, Bryce, man, was I'm more of a shower as opposed to a explain how to do stuff on the floor. Like I would get the basketball and show the kid how I want them to rip, or whatever the case may be. I couldn't do that, and that was killing me because it was certain things that I would want guys to do, especially in the offensive set on timing, showing them the step or stepways, how I want them to do it. So other than that, man, I was on the scooter and I would have right there next to the floor. And if I wanted to be up, I would be up. I wanted to be down, I would sit on it and do my thing that way. So other than showing the kid how I want to get things done, that's all it was.
Back on this AAU stuff we talked about, one thing I like that me and you did this past summer, we coached AJ. AJ is your player, your high school player.
Mm-hmm.
So after our games at Lake Point, me and you always talked.
Yeah.
And we always talked about, okay, you know AJ better than I do. So
Right.
I used to ask you, how can we help AJ? What can we do? And you know, throughout the game, you helped me become a better coach because I'm like, okay, what can I do? You watched our team maybe 2 or 3 games that weekend. Okay, what you think we need to do? What we think we need to do for AJ, so we can get him better prepared for you in upcoming season.
I think that's big, man. I think
I understand that.
I don't know, man. I'm a little bit different, man. I'm an AAU guy, bro. So it's one of those things that, man, I'm not gonna to piggyback or talk about what Locke was saying. I'm not trying to tell Locke how to coach his AAU team. He asked me specifically how to better reach AJ, or have you been seeing this from AJ? And we agreed that I have. And if you can help me help this dude and break that habit, what we was talking about, then kudos to you. I'm gonna use it when we get back into Holt Road. But I think the level of respect, for one, has to be better between high school dudes and AAU dudes, because we're all the same, man. I could be an AAU coach if I wanted to be an AAU coach. You guys could be a high school coach if you wanted to be a high school coach. So it's not like, one's better than the other or we looking down. I just think it's the level of respect. Do guys respect what high school coaches do? Do high school coaches respect what AAU coaches do? I mean, if we all in for the same thing, that's trying to help the kid, then it shouldn't be any riff or anything like that. We just got to make sure the main thing. The job that you guys did with AJ, you help him understand and help him become more of a complete player and understand who he really is, because AJ thought he was supposed to do X, Y, and Z, as opposed to, hey man, be the best catch and shoot guy you could possibly be. That's what you paid. You know what I mean? That's what it gets you paid. And I just speaking on AJ and AJ, because we was talking about AJ, but I mean, I'm an AAU advocate, man. I was a guy that needed the AAU opportunities. I needed those because I was, in South Georgia. Coaches wasn't coming down there as much, just like now. So kudos to you guys, man. Keep doing what y'all doing, man. You always got an advocate in me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Coach, we all tried to figure out what was next for you. Just understanding how you win in single A, Coach. Single A private. When single A private was
bananas.
It's crazy.
One of the best classifications in Georgia, if not the best classification in Georgia, was single A private when you won it.
Yep.
You win that. You win 7A. You win 6A. So I asked the question, shit, what's next? What happens next? Locke says you keep winning.
Hey, win City of Palms. Go win these big tournaments.
That's the next for me. What I think that's the next, progression is to try to become nationally, like a national program every single year. What I mean by that is always getting the invites to, like Locke just said, the City of Palms, Bass Pro. I've been fortunate enough to compete in Bass Pro. We went 2-1, lost to Memphis East. Pennies last year at Memphis East, and then go to Cancer Research and all those places that we are trying to get back to. We're trying to get back to being able to compete with the quote unquote best, the Monverts and the IMGs and those kind of dudes year in, year out.
Coach, what's the event in DC that you took Green Forest to that year?
It was Keith Stevens' event. It was the Hoot Fest at Hoot Fest.
Yo,
Hoop
Yo,
Fest at
that's the best
at the
hospitality
Malcolm.
room I ever been in.
It was tough. He had everything in there. Had everything. Everything. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm glad Locke got a taste of that DC bump because he really don't know nothing about that DC work.
No, hey, dude, I told you, DC was the only place I seen where they was playing basketball on a Sunday, a high school game on a Sunday night. It blew my mind.
They do, guys. Because to truth be told, I was really green to the national events that year, and because we were single A private, Keith Stevens was like, "Yo, we giving you 2 games. You're gonna play on Saturday and Sunday," and I was like, "Run it." I didn't know we couldn't play on Sunday, and so about a week, 2 weeks before we was about to go out, I got a phone call from I forgot who it was. Like, "Yo, we see you got to play in 2 games. You playing on Sunday over there?" Because the schedule had came out, and I was like, "Yeah, we playing it." And he was like, "Yo, bro, you know you can't play on a Sunday." And I was like, "Well, since when? Why not?" I'm thinking they understand what we got going on down here, and so yeah, they play on Sunday, man, and it's good basketball too, man. You got guys that play a 3:00 game on a Sunday, and then they rush to the airport at 7 to get home so they can get back to school the next day. So we gotta do something about that, man, because Sundays are NFL days now. We can play some basketball on Sunday too.
For sure. Coach, I want to talk about Isaiah a little bit. To me, and I don't know if the rankings and all that stuff matter, but to me, like, I think as loaded as I think the 2023 class is, I think it starts with him. What do you think the ceiling is for this kid?
We got work to do. We got to be just as enthused on every day when we're guarding as we are when we are sharing. We gotta get consistent with our jump shot release. We gotta not try to hit the home run every time we get opportunity to take down some of those unforced turnovers. Not be expected. He's a 10th grader. I mean, he's got to mature. He's got to learn. So speaking of ceiling, I mean, I think it's pretty freaking high, man, because
I agree.
Speaking about some of the things I just spoke about, man, we've seen some things from the kid that you just don't see from guys at that age. I mean, we didn't see Colin Sexton become Colin Sexton to his going into his senior year,
Yeah.
So, and that dude is as good as they come. I mean, he's a warrior. So I think we will see a huge step up in the right direction, having now a full year and a half of high school, because he only played a freshman year and a half of high school basketball, and then this summer probably be almost or close to a normal summer as they could possibly get with the what's going on. I think you'll see a huge step up. He'll be asked to do some different things this year, as far as on the offensive side of basketball, and he'll be continue to have to accept the challenge guarding the other team's best player, especially perimeter guy. And I see that coming because he asked for the matchup early on in the state championship game. Let me be the first to take a crack at him, and I think he did a decent job of what he did defensively. I think that's the progression. I think being a more consistent jump shooter and taking that same level of enthusiasm that he's now starting to take and play with on the defensive end, I think it's going to make him a more player. And all the proverbial hype that he got, I think it'll be warranted then.
Do you have any former players talking to Isaiah, like a Justin Forbes that you coached? Was a great point guard.
Yep. He hits him up all the time. It's crazy. I'm seeing him, watching them struggle right now in the tournament, and quite a few of them, they all reach back, especially my Green Forest guys. They know him when he was in the 5th grade, and he was in, playing little JV in 5th grade or 8th grade in JV, and the Ikeys and the Babies, they all reach back to him. And nephew, we pulling for your little bro, work on this, and this. And I remember Justin saying, like, the home run mentality. It don't have to be a home run every time. Like, it's okay to hit a single, get the hockey assist, because They got a uncanny ability of trying to make that pass from 75 when he just kick up and he'll make it. So that's like I said, that's the progression. That's the progression for him, man. And he's a real coachable kid, and he's a tireless worker, man. Looking forward to see what his summer is going to look like, man, because the team that they play on, those guys are freaking good, man. So I want to see what how his sophomore year translate over to how he going to help that squad.
For sure. Coach, I know it feels good to continue that Willard winning legacy and that tradition. But you're starting with a pretty new crop of guys. You're going to have some young guys coming up through your program. Of course, your point guard, Isaiah, he's going to remain, but you'll have some new guys coming. Are you planning anything different to kind of challenge these guys in June and to make sure they understand, hey, y'all didn't win the championship. You guys weren't here. We graduated a lot of those seniors.
Right, we did. Nah, man. It's gonna be business as usual. It ain't broke, so we're not trying to fix anything. We just gonna continue to put our head down in the month of June, man. And actually, after spring break, we'll start out, 4-on-1s, individual workouts. I mean, guys that have their times on the board and they'll come in for 35, maybe 45 minutes, and it'll be hell to pay, and we'll see who's been getting their conditioning, who's taking their workout seriously, because it'll be 45 minutes of no water break, and we're full speed for those 45 minutes. We do that 2, sometimes 3 times a week when they're around their AAU practice schedule. So that's how it typically starts right after spring break, and then when June come in, we get started with our our defensive fundamentals and how we break down and how we start putting the foundation together. A lot of the guys, young guys, will be back. They are aware. They know they've been through it before. They know what to expect. I'll be mobile, a little bit more mobile then, and we'll get nutty. So it won't be anything different, man. What we probably will do that we didn't get a chance to do last year is to have a couple play dates, and then I always like to do a couple, college team camps just for the camaraderie and the team building aspect of it. But man, it won't be nothing new. I don't think there's anything new we can do, nothing that we're going to invent, because everything that I'm doing now has already been done before. We're just trying to be consistent. I think that's the main ingredient, being consistent. You got to make, I tell our kids this all the time, our habits controls our success. And I tell coaches when speaking and we doing Zoom calls, man, whatever your habits are, whatever you feel like is important, your habits got to control your success. And if you like, in my case, a habit for me is we defensive. So there's got to be something that we preach about every single day. So our habits will control our success, and what we make important is what we'll end up being when it gets to October, November, December.
For sure. I want to plug Huff's play date. He's having one in June. I'm sure he'll be. Look, here he goes. Here goes Huff, right on cue. Denmark, June 16th and 23rd.
My Huff, man, Huff, right on time.
Hey, Coach, Coach, if you need a 6'4" forward to come demonstrate how to rebound and do anything and do any drills, like undersized big, Locke is your guy. He can demonstrate.
Hold on. Did you say 6'4"?
A 6'4" forward. Yeah, 6'4" forward.
You being really generous. Forward, bro.
Locke 6'4".
Locke ain't taller than me. I'm not 6'4".
Locke not taller than me.
About 6'2", man. ALT look.
Yeah, man. I'm 6'2" and a half. Come on, man.
The scout report say 6'4".
He grew his hair out that summer, Coach. That's how he got it.
I would say, damn, I'm shrinking. If Locke's 6'4", I'm struggling, man.
Well, that's even worse than, okay, well, if you need a 6'2" forward,
undersized forward, that can rebound. Yeah. Please don't forget the half. Please don't forget the half.
Locke was getting busy in them drills on Sunday. He was sweating his shirt out. I'm like, man, you better than me. Shit.
Hey,
We
man,
all
that was a workout.
we always can use a dude to come show us how to rebound, man. Because Sam Hines and Jaheim Hudson are gone. I mean, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
He'll tell
So,
you.
Man,
He'll grab the
man,
ball and rip it through for you.
hey,
so
I'm
that's
gonna go
South
out
Georgia
there and
stuff,
show a
man.
mirror. I'm gonna show them guards like a mirror. My boy DJ.
Yeah. Yeah. Show them. 'Cause
Yeah.
They got to go down there and mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta tell them guys they too big not to be rebounding.
Yeah, man. I love
Rebounding
DJ,
guard.
man. Yeah.
It was gonna
But
be
coach,
good.
one more thing, man.
Yep.
You played with Manny Harris pops.
Yeah, Derek. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it is to feel like see somebody to finally come out of Mitchell Baker? Because it's been a while
Well,
from any kid with a buzz to come out that area since Antonio. What's Antonio?
yeah. Tony's kids didn't go to Mitchell Baker, so yeah. I think Roy J's there. That's we call him Roy J. I think he's probably about the first one that I can remember who had their kid go there. Because people, leave and go do other things and go to other
things, yeah.
Those dudes, they are so different though, man. Like they are so different. Manny is a bona fide scorer. You know what I mean? He scores mentality. He is wired to score. And Derek Roy J, he was a true point. The true point. Yeah. He played with Jameer Jones, and he had guys around him that he had in order for him to be successful and stay on the floor. He had to help, or he had not help. He had to get those guys the basketball where they needed basketball. And Manny is the complete opposite. While I do feel Manny got some point guard traits, I think his best attribute is combo off the ball and go score. But they're so different, man. And typically, I guess it is. I mean, it's so different with basketball these days, but they are complete opposite ends. They truly didn't have to score to impact a game. And if Manny don't score, we're looking like, well, what's wrong? I mean, that's it, but it's good to see it. It's good to see that, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. I wasn't fortunate enough to have biological son of my own. So the guys that are there, the Dundrell Pinkins and the Oscar Hart and those dudes, man, they still got a little time because they got young kids. So Manny Harris won't be the last.
And shout out to Coach Harris, man. He making a lot of noise with Westwood girls program.
Yeah, man.
Three-time state champion.
Three-time state champ, man. Shout out to him. Doing it huge. And just like his pop was a really, really good girls basketball coach at Mitchell Baker. He was the girls basketball coach when I was growing up. Derek and I used to, because my mom was his assistant coach under Coach Harris. We used to roll with them everywhere. And it's a bunch of pictures I look at now. Derek and I are on all those pictures. So is not shocking that he and I both are in the coaching ranks. And yeah, man, he's tearing up, man, especially a lot more patience I have in coaching girls basketball. So, kudos to him.
Hey, Coach, last but not least, man, I still have the drill on video that you drew up, a defensive drill at the coaching clinic, and my kids hate it.
They hate it. It's the triple T.
Yeah, when I put that minute 30 on the clock and they got to run that boy down all the way. And see, I don't give them much time as you would give them, Coach. But when they don't get a stop and that clock reset, Coach, oh, man, they be hot.
Hey, man, if you want to, put some emphasis on transition defense, you put a minute and a half. I put 3 minutes up there. So
yeah, see, I be giving them a break. They don't understand.
Yeah. Nah, it's 3 minutes, man. It's 3 minutes, man. And some days you want to be a jerk. If you have a good Saturday practice, man, you want to kill a lot of time and you want guys to get after it. We can do that one drill the whole Saturday, and I can promise you, they're not gonna get through it. Especially if you're being a jerk about what your non-negotiables are. Paint and one dribble. One pass threes and missed box outs, offensive rebounds. We can go all day, but yeah, man, keep using that, man. Keep teaching them kids how to take transition defensive serious because the game is played a lot more in transition these days. And if you can't get stops or find out how to stop the basketball, man, you'll find yourself looking up really, really quick.
Been there, Coach. Hope I'm not there this weekend. Hope we play better transition defense this weekend.
Early season AAU games, man. You just got to be excited about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach, we appreciate it, man. Congratulations, number one.
Appreciate you, my G.
I want to make sure people understand that how hard it is of what you were just able to do and what you've accomplished. But definitely appreciate you. You've always been gracious with your time with us, coming on and sharing with us. So definitely appreciate it, Coach. And
man.
And good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Good job for having me. Y'all be good, man.
Always, coach.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to put him on a spot and ask him if he's the best coach in basketball, but I believe he is.
He wouldn't have said. I don't think he would have said he was based on the answer that he gave about Geico. Even though he probably thinks he is, but he's humble.
If I was him, I would think I was. If I was him, I would probably be silly enough to tell people that I was. But I think he is.
But you know what? Your work speaks for yourself, so you don't have to tell people.
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah, for sure. Can Wheeler become? And I hate to even compare it to these schools because they're all private. Can Wheeler become like a Oak Hill or a Mount Ver or?
I think they are. I think they already are. Look at the history. They have pros. They win state championships.
Yeah,
I mean,
get top players.
Yeah, but in the sense of, I think what Dre is saying, in the sense of like, could you have a whole roster or 5 or 6 dudes every year that are Division I dudes that you can go get from anywhere in the area?
People moving into Georgia just to play.
The thing is,
I don't think you can do that.
You can't do that because it's rules, because they're limited, but that doesn't put no restrictions.
Yes.
I mean, if they move to
right, they still gonna find a way to get you, I think.
Because think about it, the year they had EJ Montgomery, they had top talent. They had Darius Perry, Jaylen Brown.
National team.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Look how many McDonald they had. Jaylen Brown, EJ Montgomery, Isaiah on the trail to be another McDonald All-American. That's like in the last 8 years.
Wheeler is a basketball program, and even you can think about it. They have a basketball facility. They have everything that you need, so they're
a powerhouse.
Yeah, they're a powerhouse. You definitely, but there's rules. So whereas Oak Hill can go to Virginia, they can go to DC, they can go pick off these dudes and get them, and there's nothing that, you know what I mean, like
right.
So there's no stipulations as far as I know.
I can tell you what,
Hargrave, like you can you can just go if they want you.
God knew not to make me as good a coach as Larry, because y'all would be sick of me, dog. Like if I could win 6, 8, 7, 8 back to back, y'all think Mark bad.
He knew to put you in IT.
Facts. Because nobody wants to hear about our migration problems, Lot. Nobody wants to hear about that.
Boy, I'm about to get off the call now so I can go to sleep. I gotta be up early in the morning to do this migration.
But if I won 6, 8, 7, 8 back to back, y'all would be sick of boy. Hey man.
But I think, you know what, Dredo, sometimes when you win like that and you win a lot, because it takes a lot of work and a lot of everything, sometimes you just sit back and you like,
I should have asked him that. Because I wonder if it was more of a relief or
you're content, like you're relaxed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like so you don't have that. You probably don't have the time to be like, oh, I'm the best. I don't have to do that. I just work that hard. I'm taking a break. I'm good. I am good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't need to tell you. You know.
I wonder if he was like, oh, look, we just won again.
If he did, you would have seen it. If he did, you would have seen it on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You would have seen it somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Seen it somewhere, like
back to back playing in the locker room.
And the thing is, like, we talk about Westlake, we talk about Wheeler, Westlake girls, we talk about Wheeler, we talk about these high major programs, and the same answer is, what do you do next? Well, shit, I want to win again. The process starts again. So at that point, you're trying to challenge yourself. Can I three-peat? Can I win 3 out of the 5? You know what I'm saying? It's like you ain't focused on telling people you're the best, because shit, any moment you can get popped and you could be done with you. Your talent level could go to another school, go to another program. You know what I'm saying?
What would it take for us to say that there's nothing else for him to accomplish? Are you chasing that as a high school coach? Are you chasing that Geico National title?
I don't think so. I think your ultimate goal when you get into coaching high school is to win a state championship or to win state championships. And I think Geico is always the icing on the cake, all-American players, you know what I'm saying? But I think the ultimate goal is always to win state championships. So, yeah, I'm done. Great show, guys. Can't wait to see you, Dre, in the gym. Wow.
I'm ready to see you guys, man. AAU is gonna be fun.
Got the same kids I had last year.
Yeah. AAU is gonna be fun. But appreciate everybody rocking with us. We're just over 2 hours today. I hope everybody had a good time. I want to thank Coach Kelly again from Cross Creek. Great interview. Way to represent Augusta, represent his program, and Coach Larry from Wheeler High School. Hey, man, y'all might want to rock out. You never know who we're going to have on the show. You just never know.
Never know.
Like, you got to come on. You got to log on, man. Hey, man, don't look for the edit. Don't look for the don't.
We bring them out all over the state.
Show up. And we got another one.
We got a good one next week.
Trey bringing his Line Brothers next week, guys.
Gotta. I don't have a line, bro. Hey,
I told you he the mascot.
Somebody gonna walk up and try to secret handshake me and punch me to the vice captain.
No, they not.
Don't secret handshake me.
They'll know before they even get up to you that if they give you a recognition symbol and you don't do it, that you're not one. They ain't gonna try to dap you up.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, don't dap me. Cause I ain't gonna know what you're talking about. I'm a
GDI.
But yeah, man, check us out. We're gonna have another good show lined up next week, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Y'all gonna learn a lot of stuff about Georgia basketball and especially the grassroots scene that y'all didn't know. So make sure y'all check us out next week. It's the Love the Game podcast. We'll be back next Thursday. No show Sunday. We coaching. We're playing. Get your butt to the gym. Get the McEachern. Get the Marietta. Watch some basketball on the radar, or check out the On the Radar event streaming live on SUV TV. Shout out to SUV TV. Still the movement. Y'all know what it is. But check those games out. It's the Love the Game podcast. Good night.
Let's go.